I've got this sped up. It's the most amazing source. It's a light source. It's very strong source. Here we go. I just never imagined that a spider would be able to create such a bright light source. See this? It's like showing, like, I don't know, maybe this is the actual distance of it. Like that could be her actual sac that she's working on, and the light is magnifying it closer this way, and that's why maybe it's like doubling up. That's what I figure. See this? It's like it's telling us the triangulation of it. Interesting. I find this so amazing. So we got to learn by learning to listen to God's language of love. And what's God's language of love? Well, first of all, this is cool. First of all, we look at nature. You know, so for example, a spider was given the natural knowledge of how to weave. Yeah, that is what it is. It's the spider hanging on the sack. And I've got this one before. I've seen it before. So spiders know how to weave webs. That's one of the stories in ancient Egypt, is that they learned how to make clothing and linen from the spiders. They learned it from them. That's another thing that the Native Americans are familiar with. This is sped up. Maybe it's not a good thing to keep it sped up while it's doing this in front of us, but isn't that interesting? It's like, does it look like a spider? So what have we learned from the animals? You know, I'm sure that if we talk to a Native American, for example, and among many other cultures, they would know how to tell you what we learned from a certain species. I won't do this. Dear God. What can we learn from the animals? Right? They can teach us something. That's just one example of something that we learn from the natural environment. It's the kind of thing that teaches us things about the relative universe. You know, I believe that everything is relative. I've noticed that myself, that there's just a scale to things, a macro and a micro. And it just seems to be the case. So this guy is not weaving a web, to my knowledge. He's weaving a sack for his babies, is at least what it looks like. And it's going to end up looking like this, like feather-like thing that's I've captured in a sky that looks like it's laying on top of an orbit. And again, we're talking scale here. Those feathers look like they're laying on top of an orbit. This looks like strings that are being woven to create a sack to put the babies in. The scale. like the way that the light pulled back and it showed like reflection inflections of the distance and the light moving around the source and stuff. This is, how we can learn. This is one of the God codes. Is to listen to the world around us, to the natural world. But if we're not listening to the natural world, if we're rejecting it, if we are rejecting the natural world, if we are trying to be men making things artificially, which is man-made, which is everything that they're up to. They're up to doing everything man-made. They're up to trying to copy God and do it their way, which is, that's what kids do. That's what kids do. They take apart a phone and they try to put it back together again. That's kids' play. It certainly isn't God's play. It certainly isn't God's play. Now, if you look at nature, could you say that you see evidence of love? I do. I think I see evidence of love all the time. All the time there's videos of animals taking care of other animals, babies and things. I've heard some most amazing stories. Amazing stories. There was a bird that raised lion cubs or tiger cubs or some kind of cat. And there was a few of them. And the bird taught them how to hunt. I mean, amazing things. They did a study on it because they found this bird and these cubs that were in a barn, and they decided to let them stay doing their own thing. And sure enough, everything was fine. And the cats came and said hello. The bird basically flew over them, watched over them. So, the first thing that's important for us as human beings on this earth to recognize is about the truth of creation. The truth of the egg. That's not the right question. The question is, what came first, the chicken or the rooster? And the answer is the chicken, because it comes with the egg. And by all information says that God created the woman, the human, that can parthenogenerate and birth God's children. The information even indicates that man was the fallen angels, came from the Anunnakis that came here from another place to mine our gold and turn us into a slave race. They're still in the process of doing that. Those are the Babylonians, the Akkadians, the Sumerians, the hunter, blood-sucking gatherers that are not native to Earth. A woman was able to give birth to probably twins, if anything, at some point, but probably not often, because the woman had the X and the Y accordingly. And I'm certain that women could have birthed a boy and a girl from time to time, but it would have been far and few between. That's what I believe that those statues came from, those beautiful statues of just goddess Adonis men. It's because we wanted to have something to look at, to fantasize about, if anything. But it was known that parthenogenesis there was a way of birthing children. You could either do it with the animal way, which is with a man, or you could birth the child of a higher order when you birth God's child. And this was something a woman's body could do when it's healthy, when it's not stressed out, when it's naturally doing its thing. And man changed that because he came from somewhere else. He came from somewhere else to change the story, to lie to us, to deceive us, to turn us into a slave race. And that's exactly what they would have to do. They'd have to act like pirates. They'd have to siege us. They'd have to take us by force. They would have to do what they did. They would have to basically kill off the ones that weren't obedient to repeating their nonsense narrative. And after enough generations of killing the ones that aren't obedient and keeping the ones that are willing to be obedient, then that's how you get a brainwashed. That's how you get a brainwashed society of people. Many generations later, you've got only these women that are you know, dedicated to that false narrative, and it's harmed all of us. And